Wow, warmth. $15,000 in total. The amount of damage that my family endured as a result of a herd of wild boars destroying our orchard and our food storage facility is equal to that amount. Moreover, they were the cause of a potentially lethal illness outbreak that occurred among the livestock that we kept on our farm. In order to prevent the situation from getting out of hand, I, along with a few other local residents, had no alternative but to equip ourselves and go hunting. One and only one of our objectives is to eradicate the wild boar problem. The approved hunting areas were our destination, and we reached them at the crack of dawn. The pack of hounds sprang into action almost immediately and quickly focused their attention on a new victim. It was immediately the team's attention that was drawn to their loud barking. When the boars came into view, we were ready and waiting, and as soon as they did, we fired the trigger with full attention. This was the cost that they were required to bear. Having said that, that was only the beginning. More difficulties were sure to be in store for us. Continuing our search for another target, we continued our movement. Suddenly, a massive boar emerged from the bushes that were located close to the trail. I was taken aback for a brief time, but my urge to hunt immediately took over, and I was on my way. It was me that pulled the trigger. It's a shot. Within a short period of time, a number of rounds were fired. The boar stumbled and eventually slumped, and its slow, labored breathing finally subsided. The dogs had turned it into a festival for them. Shortly about half an hour, the region reverted back to its typical state of silence. While we waited for our next opportunity, we continued to move in a patient manner. Last but not least, that recognizable sound resounded, a sign that is encouraging. Someone had spotted a boar, and it had quickly emerged from the thicket. I did not waste any time and shot. His target was hit by the bullet. In spite of the fact that the boar was not instantly consumed, there was no way for him to escape. Never-ending pursuit and assaults from the hounds continue. When the bushes in front of us started to rustle, we had hardly moved for 2 minutes at that point. Our hearts were racing as we swiftly raised our weapons, ensuring that we did not miss the opportunity. In what seemed like the blink of an eye, a bullet slashed through the air and reached its target with pinpoint accuracy. I applaud you. Rapidly, the boar fell to the ground. Deadly shot that is clean, both quick and accurate. The jungle was filled with the powerful sound of gunfire. The boars were startled and they fled from their hiding places as a result. They were to be pursued and intercepted at the open grassland, which was my responsibility. One boar, then two, and shortly after, they were charging. I did not lose my composure. I maintained a solid grip on the gun, and I fired multiple shots. One of them was struck and sustained injuries. Take a shot. Excellent. Excellent. Although I had advanced a few hundred meters further in a meadow, I was abruptly confronted by a wild boar that sprang out directly in front of me. I instantly raised my rifle and fired a shot that confirmed my victory. Even though it was fired from a great distance away, the bullet was accurate and brought the animal to a complete and utter halt. Immediately after that, I was able to locate another bull by following the growls and barking of the dogs. It had been surrounded by the entire pack, but when it spotted a gap in the defenses, it ran away. Taking a deep breath, I aimed through the scope from a distance of 50 meters away, and then I pressed the trigger. On the other hand, this boar was a tough one. It was only after a number of shots that it was finally brought down. After that, the dogs poured in, anxious to get their free food and water. Incredible. You have it right. That is very painful. We are led deep into the enormous cornfields on a road that is paved with dirty dirt. The time of year for corns has arrived. After putting in a lot of effort over the course of several months, the farmers are looking forward to a bumper harvest as they gaze at the beautiful green cornfields. But that happiness is broken in the span of just one night. As soon as the sun begins to rise, they are confronted with a terrible scene. In one half of the field there has been a complete and total destruction. There is no reason to speculate anything. The wild boars are the ones responsible for this. It is futile for us to do nothing. The moment has come to ask them to pay. Immediately after we have arrived, I will place myself in a strategic location in order to start the hunt. In order to concentrate on the target, I hold my breath, tighten my grip on the trigger, and lock onto it. It feels like every second is going on forever, and my heart is pounding. At this very moment, it would be ideal to eliminate the person who is leading the fight. It is a single shot that is heard. It is instantaneous that the target falls. After that, there is another round of shots, and each one is accompanied by a roar of agony as the wild boars are taken down one by one. This is simply the beginning of the conflict. The first target is visible and can be seen through the scope. Behind the leaves of the fresh green corn, there is a shadowy figure lurking. If the wild boars were caught in a precarious situation, the majority of people would assume that they would immediately run into the hills that are nearby. On the other hand, these creatures are crafty. Whenever they go on a hunt, they always find methods to make it unpredictable. While the other members of the herd make an unexpected move and run into a deep field of tall grass, the other half of the herd races upward along the slope, a place that is ideal for concealment. However, we had been expecting this to happen. Every single option for evasion had already been cut out. There was no way out of the situation, beginning with the meadows and continuing all the way up to the pinnacle of the hill. The sound of gunfire reverberated throughout the night across the entire area. There was no denying the fact that the dispersed carcasses of wild boar served as clear evidence of our commitment and unrelenting pursuit in our fight for life or death. As a result of our relocation, we are now situated at the base of the hills, close to the cornfield. It was during the process of searching the region that the hunting dogs came across a large wild boar that easily weighed more than 120 kilos. As soon as it became aware of the threat, the boar reacted promptly by running at an incredible pace. Nevertheless, we did not allow it a chance to escape. A member of my team did not waste any time and fired. The bullet impacted the enormous beast, causing it to fall to the ground instantaneously. While this was going on, my other colleague and I were pursuing another wild boar in an effort to get away from it. It was scared by my initial shot, which caused it to run even faster. However, there were no dense shrubs to provide cover in the open field where I was shooting. It attempted to flee, but there was no way out. Another shot that was well aimed echoed off the ceiling. The method that we devised, which consisted of forcing the boar into a closed region, proved to be very successful within an hour. We did not give up, and we continued to take down each target in a methodical manner, thereby strengthening our defenses for the decisive battle. We felt a burst of excitement, and this time we wanted to challenge ourselves in a different way. Rather than using firearms or explosives that could be heard for miles, they used something else, a bow and arrow. Through the green corn leaves, the figure of a wild boar could be seen flickering. Even though it happened quickly, I managed to keep my composure. Quickly drawing my bow, I employed the method that I had been practicing. After being aimed and then released, the arrow sailed through the air like lightning, leaving a hole in the head of the pig. Despite its best efforts, it was unable to flee due to the discomfort, and it eventually collapsed in the field. Even though the night was dark, we did not take a break. The wild boars were at their most active during this time. Using the night vision scope, we were able to observe them tearing through the surrounding cornfields. When viewed in the darkness, their blazing eyes appeared to be frightening. We took careful aim, and with a shot that was pinpoint accurate, the arrow pierced through the darkness, ending the life of yet another deadly beast. A handful more were taken down by us that evening. We were able to eradicate a large number of wild boars, so safeguarding the crops and returning peas for the farmers. On the other hand, due to the fact that they reproduce so quickly, they continue to pose a substantial risk. Despite the fact that the hunts will continue, we will always be prepared to confront them.